Shalom Havarim and hello friends. It's good to be with you this Sunday morning or whenever you are watching. I've been asked questions throughout my life. You know, it's kind of a fun game, especially when you're on a road trip or riding around with friends. What kind of superpowers would you choose to have if you could have any powers in the world? You know, would you want to be able to fly or become invisible? Be really fast? Which superpowers would you like to have? Which superhero would you prefer to be? Well, I thought about that a little bit this week, and I realized that if I could be any superhero, I would choose to be Aluminum Man. What's that? You don't know about Aluminum Man? Oh yeah, Aluminum Man's one of my favorites because he foils crime. He foils crime. Aluminum foil. Come on. All right. Most of us don't have superpowers, unless I'm not seeing it. Most of us can't leap tall buildings in a single bound. Most of us are not more powerful than a steaming locomotive or faster than a speeding bullet like Superman. I'm not sure that I know anybody who is rich enough to buy a suit or gadgets like Iron Man or Batman. Most of us are just plain old human beings. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay to be a plain human being. Nobody expects you to be a superhero. I think it's especially helpful to remember that God expects you to be a human as well. Nobody knows you better than the person who created you. And I shouldn't call God a person. Nobody knows you better than the being who created you, the one who knit you together in your mother's womb. God knows what you are able to accomplish and achieve, even better than you know what you're able to accomplish and achieve. So what I want to do today is I want to challenge us all to try to do the most that we can with what we've been given. And to do that, I want to look at a passage of Scripture that you may have heard me preach from before. And that's because this is one that comes up in two of the Gospels. It's in both Matthew and in Luke. I'm drawing from Matthew's version. It's in Matthew 25. And because it's in two of the Gospels, it's also 2 out of the 3 years in the lectionary, so it comes up frequently. So this is a story about a rich man, a rich and powerful man. And he's going away for a period of time. And he calls in 3 of his servants, and he puts each of them in charge of some of his money. Now it says in Matthew's gospel that to one of these servants he gives 5 talentons. That's the Greek word that's used there, talentons. 5 to this one guy. The next guy gets 2 talentons. And the third one gets only 1 talenton. Now a talenton is actually a unit of weight. It's about equivalent to 80 pounds. So of course the value of a talenton depends on 80 pounds of what? So it was common in Jesus' day to use 80 pounds of silver to see that as the talenton, as the unit of money. So when we start calculating what that would come to, 80 pounds of silver in Jesus' day would have been equivalent to 6,000 denarius. And a denarius was equivalent to a day's work. So essentially, 1 talenton is 6,000 days worth of labor. That comes to 16 years of work. You want to make a talenton? Work for 16 years. Let's take it one more step. The guy that received 5 talentons, that's the equivalent of 80 years of labor. So this is all the money an average person would see in their lifetime, assuming they live and are able to work for 80 years. And most people weren't able to do that. So probably even more money than they would see in their entire lifetime. So it's probably helpful at this point to remind you of the English translation of the word talenton. It's not a difficult one to remember. The English word is talent. And that's where we get our English word talent from. So these guys were given 5, 2, and 1 talents. And the first point I want to make from this is very obvious. Not everybody gets the same amount of talent. And last time last time I preached on this, I remember saying, duh, right? We don't need convinced of this. Everybody knows not everybody gets the same amount of talent. It doesn't seem fair to us at times, and I'll admit that it doesn't seem fair to me, but it's true. We don't get the same amount of talent. And I remember praying as a little boy growing up. I was very interested in NBA basketball. I wanted to be a professional basketball player. I remember praying every night to God, I want to be 6'7". I want to be extremely athletic. And you know what? No, it didn't. It didn't happen. I hit 6 foot, and I'm not athletic at all. Somehow, the guy that grew up 30 miles down the road in Akron, Ohio, he kind of got all the prayers that I was praying for. It wasn't fair. But we realized that God, the giver of our talents, is the one that gets to decide who gets what. So talents are not evenly distributed. And no, it doesn't seem fair to us. But I also really realize that I've been given talents that others don't have. Now, indulge me here for a minute. This may come off as if I'm bragging a little bit, but one thing that I'm really good at, and it's a talent I don't often share with people, is I'm really good at playing the nose flute. If you aren't familiar with the nose flute, this, my friends, is a nose flute. You hold it up against your nose, you exhale through your nose, and it makes sweet music. I'll demonstrate for you. This is my first public performance, by the way. Again, I hate to brag, but I may be the best nose flute player that I know. It's very possible because I don't know anyone else who plays the nose flute. I've never practiced a day in my life, and it's just a God-given talent that I can play the nose flute. Granted, I'm never going to make millions of dollars like the guy that did become a 6'7", 6'8" basketball player. I'm not going to make probably any money off of being an above average nose flute player. But I do realize that I've been given talents, and maybe the world doesn't value them the same as someone else's talents, but I can't deny that I've been given some talents as well. So let's come back to this text. This rich man returns after distributing these talents, the 5, 2, and 1 talents to these different individuals. And he goes to those first 2 guys, and each of them was able to double the investment. The guy that had been given 5 talents now has 10. The guy that was given 2 talents now has 4. And to each of those, the owner, the rich man says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Now, I would love to know what they invested in to double their investment. Maybe they were investing in Lysol or Amazon during COVID-19. I don't know, but they were able to double what they were originally given. The servant, or the master, comes to the third servant and asks him, "What did you do with the 1 talent that I gave you?" And he says, "Well, I didn't want to lose it, so I buried it. I buried it deep in the ground so no one could steal it. I just wanted to keep that safe and not lose it." And the owner, he's actually upset with him. He says, you could have at least taken it to the bank and deposited it there, and yeah, you're getting like 0.5% of interest these days, or whatever it is, but at least you get some interest on it. But all you did was bury it. That's the best you could do with the things that I gave you, with the thing that I entrusted you with. And the owner, the rich guy, he calls this servant wicked and lazy. Now, I want you to notice this. The guy who doubled his talents from 2 to 4, he didn't give nearly as much back to the master as the guy that doubled his talents from 5 to 10. In fact, the guy that doubled his talents from 2 to 4 still didn't have as much total talents as the guy that was originally given 5. But all of these individuals that were able to make some gains off of their talents, they were given the same reward. They were told, "Well done, good and faithful servant." They were put in charge of more, and they were welcomed into the master's kingdom. The point that I'm trying to make is, again, yes, it's true. We have not all been given the same talents, and it does not seem fair to us. From our perspective, it's just not fair. But in this situation, you want to guess who this rich person was? This is God. But we see in this story that God doesn't seem concerned with how much we are able to accomplish total with our talents. It's not like a total volume kind of question. God is concerned with us doing the most that we can with what we've been given. So there was this absolutely beautiful story that I heard this week. It happened just less than a week ago. History was made in the Ironman triathlon. Are you familiar with Ironman triathlons? This guy named Chris Nikic made history. So Ironman triathlon, here it is, and I'm already getting overwhelmed by this. Ironman triathlon, in one day, in one period of time, you start by swimming 2.4 miles. And I'm not a swimmer, but that's a lot of miles to swim, all right? 2.4 mile swim. You go immediately from that to a 112-mile bike ride. As soon as you're done with the bike ride, you run 26.2 miles. You always end with a full marathon. That's a lot. The record for the Ironman is 7 hours, 40 minutes, and 23 seconds. Now, this man that made history this week, Chris Nikic, he did the Ironman triathlon in 16 hours, 46 minutes, and 9 seconds. Did you catch that? The record is 7 hours, 40 minutes, and 23 seconds. Nikic did it in 16 hours, 46 minutes, and 9 seconds. That's more than 9 hours over the record. By all means, it's a great accomplishment to achieve an Ironman, but he didn't set records. So why are we excited about this? Why are we saying that this man made history? It was because he was the first person with Down syndrome to ever complete an Ironman triathlon. Now, if you compare Nikic's time with other athletes, it's not really that impressive. But when you think, wow, what he was able to do, what he was able to overcome with what he had been given, the challenges, the obstacles that he had to overcome, it's amazing. God cares about what we do with what we've been given. So what are we doing with the talents that God has given to us? And again, we all have talents. Yours may not be quite as amazing as running Ironman triathlons or playing the nose flute, but look for it. Find your talents. And what are you doing with that? And I realize that during COVID-19, it may be difficult to use your talents, at least in the ways that you're used to. But you know what? There may also be opportunities to use the talents that you've been given that you haven't been able to employ before. Now, don't compare yourselves to others. No, that's not a good game. We're always going to get depressed and always get down. If we try to compare to what the best in the field has accomplished, we're going to be let down and discouraged. But try to do the best with what you've been given. Don't bury your talent. What you should be doing is trying to double your talent. Double the return for God, for the Master, so that one day when he returns and you meet him face to face, he'll say to you, "Well done, good and faithful servant." All right, you talented people, go out there and do the most you can with what you've been given.